Romantic Tales. Chapter 669. Wei Liao coughed and lowered his voice. Do you have Jiang Xiaowei's WeChat? You want to hit on her? Hua Min's straightforward question made Wei Liao feel awkward. Huh? Can you not be so direct? Wei Liao chuckled. I have her WeChat, but what? Wei Liao asked timidly when he saw that Hua Min wanted to say something but didn't. But she might be getting engaged in a week. Engaged? This news was like a blow to Wei Liao's head. After being in the industry for so many years, he finally met a woman that he was interested in. He thought that he would no longer be single. But when Hua Min said that she was getting engaged, Wei Liao almost went crazy. His heart fell to the bottom of the valley with a loud thud. So, I don't think it's useful for you to ask for her WeChat, Hua Min added. Then I'll add her too. Maybe we can be friends in the future. I see if she adds you or not. Hua Min thought that since Jiang Xiaowei didn't want to get engaged, he might as well give Wei Liao a chance. What if the two of them liked each other? In this world, anything could happen. Wei Liao scanned the QR code and added Jiang Xiaowei. But after waiting for a while, she still didn't accept. She didn't add me, she probably didn't see my WeChat, Wei Liao muttered to himself. Hua Min really wanted to tell him that she just sent Jiang Xiaowei a WeChat message. But he didn't want to upset him again. Thanks, Hua Min. Hurry up and eat, I'm leaving. After receiving Jiang Xiaowei's WeChat message, Wei Liao drove away in his sports car. Hua Min sat in his office and ate the meal that Wei Liao had sent over. He thought about what had happened last night and found it quite funny. Come to think of it, Jiang Xiaowei was also a tough girl. She insisted on drinking with Wei Liao until she was left with only a pair of underpants. After a hearty meal, Hua Min missed Qin Chu, so he sent him a WeChat message. Mr. Qin, have you eaten? She didn't receive a reply for a long time. Looking at the time, he should be on his lunch break. Hua Min couldn't help but call her. No one picked up for a long time. Just as she was about to hang up, a woman's voice sounded from the other end. Hello. Isn't that Qin Chu's phone? Hua Min was dumbfounded. Why would a woman pick up? She never picked up Qin Chu's phone calls because she didn't want to get involved in business matters. He's eating, I have his phone. The woman's voice was crisp. Hua Min felt like the name sounded familiar. Then he suddenly remembered and asked tentatively, Jiang Linyue? May I ask who you are? Jiang Linyue asked on purpose. The truth was, Hua Min didn't remember Jiang Linyue's name on purpose. It was just that last time when he went to the company to resolve a crisis. During the executive meeting, Jiang Linyue had been opposing her the entire time. She only stopped after he invited Mo Shuier and Ni Yang and slapped her in the face. She could understand how the female employees felt about Qin Chu. After all, her boss was so handsome, rich and handsome. Which woman wouldn't like him? However, the fact that Jiang Linyue could pick up Qin Chu's phone made her very, very unhappy. Moreover, the woman purposely asked, Who are you? Qin Chu never saved anyone's phone number, but he had hundreds of customer numbers in his head. However, Hua Min was always the number one name in Qin Chu's phone. Hua Min's nickname was Beloved Wife. She didn't believe that Jiang Linyue was blind. She could only say that this woman was starting to play mind games with her. Don't you know who I am? Hua Min asked coldly. Huh? That's funny, how would I know if you didn't tell me? Jiang Linyue was also full of hostility. Why are you picking up Qin Chu's phone call? Hua Min asked bluntly. No matter how busy he is, how could he pick up the phone? Of course, I picked it up for him, Jiang Linyue purposely said in a coquettish voice. Hua Min chuckled and suddenly asked, Do you know a saying that's been circulating on the internet lately? What saying? Jiang Linyue didn't understand what Hua Min meant and asked cautiously. Chapter 670. Knows when no die, Hua Min said word for word. Jiang Linyue's face immediately darkened. Hua Min usually looked weak and easy to get along with, but her words were so powerful. If you don't look for trouble, you won't die. It was a very practical warning. However, Jiang Linyue was no longer in the mood to listen. She was only thinking about how to break up Qin Chu and Hua Min's love life. Haha, is that so? But I just like to cause trouble. If I don't do it for a day, my whole body will feel uncomfortable. Jiang Linyue laughed viciously, blatantly challenging Hua Min's patience. Just then Jiang Linyue heard footsteps outside the door. Then before Hua Min could say anything, she hung up the phone and quickly deleted her call history. Then she turned off her phone. Just as she placed her phone on the table, Qin Chu pushed open the door and walked in. They were just having a meeting about the new winter jewelry release. During this time, Qin Chu was called out by the CFO to talk about some personal matters. The other colleagues also went to drink water one after another and went to rest. However, just as Jiang Linyue was about to leave, she heard Qin Chu's phone ring. Originally, she was going to take President Qin's phone, but when she saw the caller ID, "My beloved wife," she became envious. She couldn't help but feel envious, jealous, and hateful. So she picked up the phone and started a fight with Huamian over the phone. Seeing Qin Chu walk in, Jiang Linyue immediately handed the phone to him. "President Qin, you came back just in time. I was just about to give it to you, but it might have run out of battery and turned off." Qin Chu didn't say anything. He took the phone and looked at it. Then he turned around and left. Seeing that Qin Chu didn't suspect anything, Jiang Linyue seemed to sigh in relief. Huamin had no intention of calling back, because he already knew what was going on. Jiang Linyue, that little bitch, undoubtedly took advantage of Qin Chu's absence to secretly pick up the phone. "I still have to pretend that I have a very close relationship with Chairman Qin. I'm such an idiot." What kind of person was Huamin? Would he misunderstand Qin Chu and hold a grudge against him because of this? Of course not. She trusted Qin Chu just like how Qin Chu trusted her. Not only did she not call Qin Chu to question him about this, she even planned on secretly teaching Jiang Linyue, this scheming bitch, a lesson. She didn't lower herself to argue with Jiang Linyue at the opening ceremony last time, and thought she would be more low-key. Who knew that she would be even more flamboyant? That was why it was said that some people were obviously shameless. When they were for a while, they would say they didn't know what to do when they say, "Why, when did you come home every day at night?" She wondered if you were having an affair with Lon from next door. She said, for example, you for her, husband for her. She, and you to Lon knows with her, so no. In other words, don't make things up even if you don't mean it. Because after a long time, it would subtly send a message to her husband, making him wonder if he had an affair with that person called Xiaolon. Later on, when he saw Xiaolon, he would have a subtle reaction. In the end, things that shouldn't have happened would happen. The husband's cheating rate would obviously increase. This was the most unwise thing for a woman. Therefore, Huamin didn't plan on mentioning Jiang Linyue to Qin Chu, because a clown like her didn't deserve to get between them. On the other side, Wei Liao added Jiang Xiaowei as a friend. After a long time, he still didn't get a response, so he couldn't sit still anymore. He added her twice in a row. He even left a comment saying, "Hello, I'm Wei Liao." Finally, Jiang Xiaowei replied, but she still didn't add him. Instead she asked, "Who's Wei Liao?" "The one you made a bet with last night," Wei Liao explained patiently, sweating profusely. "The one I drank with last night was my good friend Huamin. Don't try to fool me." Wei Liao, "So you're sober and not admitting it?" Wei Liao asked angrily. "So, did I do anything to you?" Jiang Xiaowei's question made Wei Liao speechless. Chapter 671. Fine, you win. Wei Liao had never met a woman like this in all his years. She almost crippled him last night, and now she was shamelessly asking who he was? He felt like Jiang Xiaowei was no longer on the same level as Huamin. Huamin was a rational person. He knew that he was married and didn't want to talk to Lord Su. However, he didn't pretend that he didn't know Lord Su. However, Jiang Xiaowei was definitely the type of witch who would eat people whole without spitting out their bones. Wei Liao thought that this woman was as sweet as a Japanese AV actress, but she was more wicked than anyone else. If they slept together, he wouldn't even have to take responsibility. The woman wouldn't even admit to it. It was a pity that someone like her was a doctor in psychology. She should have been the #1 woman at Imperial Star. She could deal with the media. Wei Liao felt depressed and decided not to add Jiang Xiaowei. Jiang Xiaowei also forgot about it. Her parents kept urging her to try on the dress for the engagement party, but she refused to go downstairs. The truth was, her parents knew that she didn't want to go. However, for their daughter's happy marriage, they didn't care about anything else. It was rare for Qin Chu to get off work early, so he drove straight to Southside to pick up Huamin. "Why are you here?" Huamin saw Mr. Qin and immediately stopped being shy. "I'm picking you up from work so we can go to the old house for dinner and visit your mom." "Ah, okay, Jishin is home today." Huamin was in a good mood when he heard that they were going back to his home. After they packed up, they got into Qin Chu's car and left the Audi in the parking lot at Southside. When the two passed by the supermarket, they went downstairs to buy a lot of food and fruit for dinner. When they arrived at the old house, it was almost 7 p.m. Luckily, they called their mother earlier, so they were waiting for them to eat. Sis, you're finally back, I'm starving, Jing Jixin yelled. To their surprise, Huang Yu was there as well. They had already become a pair of inseparable lovers. Huang Yu was still a bit reserved when she saw Huamin and Qin Chu. Mian, you guys are back? Huang Yu, who was wearing a pink dress, was still young after all. She was dressed very delicately. Jixin was a warm guy who was nice to his sister, let alone his girlfriend. When he was with Huang Yu, the two of them had almost no arguments. Every day they were sweet and loving. WeChat's WeChat moments. Huamian didn't understand why he was being so high-profile, but she wouldn't stop him. After all, everyone had different ways of expressing joy. Since time was limited, Huamian bought ingredients for hot pot from the supermarket. The five of them sat under a big tree in the courtyard and began to eat the steaming hot pot. Yang Merong was no longer as hostile towards Qin Chu as before. Occasionally she would even say, "You should eat more." "Thank you, Auntie." Qin Chu was a bit flattered. Regardless of what kind of person Yang Merong was, at least she raised Huamin for more than 20 years. Moreover, she didn't favor Huamin over her daughter just because she was a girl. No one thought about this. Although she sometimes had a bad mouth, she was actually a good person. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been tricked by that old thief Hu Jinghai again and again. To put it bluntly, Yang Merong was actually an idiot. When she was young, she wasn't scheming and didn't know how to play tricks. Therefore, even after she had a child, she still lost to that bitch Shenjiani. "Sis, you looked so cool on the red carpet." "Ah, you recognized you first, I didn't even dare to look at you." Jing Jixin giggled as he watched his sister tease him. Chapter 672. You little brat, are you itching for a beating? How dare you tease your sister? I'm not teasing you. Pa sis, you're such a weirdo. I can't believe you managed to keep up with that smoky makeup. Plus, you're even more charismatic than those celebrities. The media thought you were a newbie signed by GK and kept snapping photos of you. Oh, I'm dying of laughter. Huang Yu laughed as well. Senior sister isn't a beauty, but her charisma is undeniable. Plus, she's good at controlling the situation. Anyways, I like girls like her. If she didn't study medicine and became a celebrity, she would definitely be famous. You two, we're all family, stop sucking up to me. Thank you, just don't make fun of me. With her chopsticks in her mouth, Huamian smiled as she watched the two of them sing along. Jixin, don't be so rude to your sister. You're a kid, but your sister is married. Don't mess around like that. Your brother-in-law is here. Yang Merong lectured her son. It's okay, Auntie, I'm used to it. Jixin is actually very good to Mian. Qin Chu rarely saw such a warm scene. During this time there weren't enough vegetables, so Huamin got up to wash them. Jixin also quietly followed them. Sis? I want to ask you something. What is it? Do you have a baby yet? Huamin was speechless. She wasn't even worried about this, but it seemed like Jixin was even more worried than she was. Why do you keep asking? Huamin looked at Jixin confused. I'm asking for Mom. She always calls me to ask, but other than the person involved, how would I know? Don't worry, I'll definitely tell you guys. Okay, hee, I also want to be an uncle. Jixin stuck out his tongue. You're still young? You're already 19. But I'm still a kid. Ahem. Come here, I want to ask you something. Now it was Huamin's turn to ask. What? Did you do it? Huamin was too embarrassed to ask. But Jixin immediately understood. She immediately replied, Sis, what era are we living in now? Do you think everyone is as innocent and simple as you? Love isn't as simple as holding hands. Of course we're together. I was planning to move out with her when I started my internship in my 4th year. Then you have to be careful. Don't let Xiao Yu get pregnant. After all, you are still young. If you want it, there will be too much pressure. If you don't want it, abortion will harm the girl's body. Got it, sis. We have all taken precautions. Don't worry. Jing Jixin patted his sister's shoulder and said confidently. Huamin was also speechless. His younger brother was only 19 years old, but the way he spoke was so sophisticated. Was he thinking too little? Or did she think that Jixin was too pure? After dinner, Huang Yu was cleaning the yard while Qin Chu and Jixin sat in the yard drinking tea. Huamin went into the kitchen to help his mother wash the dishes. Mom, in the future if you have any questions just ask me. Don't call Jixin. After all, he's a boy. It'll be awkward if he keeps asking me if I have a baby hot. Huamin smiled coyly. Don't be so heartless. You're like me. Since you're lucky enough to marry into a rich family, you have to plan for everything. It doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl, you can't not have children. I know it's not that I don't want children. I really don't have any right now. Huamin looked innocent. Your body is a bit thin. Find a reliable Chinese medicine doctor and see if you have a cold body. Take more Chinese medicine to nourish your body. Huamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I studied medicine, so I know. The reason I can't get pregnant isn't necessarily because I'm sick. It's because pregnancy is actually very magical. The combination of sperm and egg isn't as simple as you think. In fact, conception is an extremely complicated process. You forget it, you wouldn't understand even if I told you. Huamin originally wanted to explain it to his mother, but after a few sentences of professional knowledge, his mother wasn't interested in listening, so he decided not to say anything. Then she took out an envelope from her bag and handed it over. Mom, take this money. Why are you giving me money again? I don't need money. Yang Meirong refused to take it. Chapter 673. Don't worry, Mom, this money doesn't belong to the Qin family, it's my own salary. I don't lack food right now, so I don't need this money. Sometimes, you don't even want to eat when your store isn't doing well. Don't be so hard on yourself, we're all grown up now, it's time for you to enjoy life. No matter what Yang Meirong said, Huamin stuffed the envelope into his mother's apron pocket. There were 20,000 yuan inside. Huamin didn't dare to give his mother too much money, because even if he gave her too much cash she wouldn't spend it. It wasn't safe to keep it at home. Okay, then I'll keep it for you. If you need it in the future I'll give it to you. I don't need it, just think of it as living expenses. Mom, if you want to go back to your hometown I'll take some time off to go back with you. Huamin vaguely remembered that his mother hadn't gone back to her hometown for a few years. No, why would I go back? Your grandparents aren't here anymore, only those gambler uncles of yours. They only want money when they see me, nothing else. A while ago your aunt saw that you were interviewed on TV and called me. She said that you married into a rich family and wanted you to find a good partner for her shilling, but I rejected her. I don't want to talk to someone like your aunt. I might get into trouble if I don't deal with her. Okay, but if you want to go back to your hometown remember to tell me. I'll go with you. Okay, I'm not going back. From now on, wherever you and Jixin are, that's where my home is, Yang Meirong said as she washed the dishes. Mom, oh right, I suddenly thought of something. What is it? I heard, not long after I was born Hu Jinghai wanted to do a DNA test. Uncle Jing carried me there? Yeah, I wasn't out of confinement at the time so I didn't have time to care about that. That proved that I'm his daughter. Did he say anything? Huamin asked tentatively. He gave me a sum of money, about 200,000 yuan. I don't care about his filthy money. I told your Uncle Jing to return it and we've never seen each other again. Oh. Huamin looked thoughtful. What's wrong? Why are you asking about this all of a sudden? Yang Meirong looked at her daughter curiously. It's nothing. I suddenly remembered that I caused quite a commotion back then and I even did a DNA test. Hu Jinghai is such a cautious person so he should have done a DNA test. That's right. He's an old fox. Then Huamin didn't say anything else. After washing the dishes he walked out of the kitchen. It's getting late. Hubby, let's go home. All right. Qin Chu stood up gracefully. Brother-in-law, don't forget that I'm going to do an internship at your place during the holidays. All right. Qin Chu nodded. Then the two of them bid farewell to their mother and walked out of the old house. What did you ask about Jixin again? It's nothing. Don't spoil him too much, Huamin advised. I know. Honey, there's something strange. Can you help me analyze it? In the car, Huamin thought about what had happened recently and decided to share it with Qin Chu. Okay, go ahead. I'm not Hu Jinghai's daughter, that's for sure. However, I heard that Uncle Jing took me to Hu Jinghai for a DNA test and confirmed that I was his daughter. At the time, Hu Jinghai gave me 200,000 yuan for child support. My mom didn't want it and asked Uncle Jing to return it to Hu Jinghai. What do you want to ask? Qin Chu asked as he drove. I want to ask, why did Uncle Jing hide my identity from me and Hu Jinghai? Maybe he didn't want to reveal the truth, Qin Chu said slowly. Huamin nodded. Not only that, I suspect that Uncle Jing didn't give the 200,000 yuan my mom returned to Hu Jinghai. Instead, he gave it to the doctor who did the DNA test. Qin Chu continued. Smart, that's exactly what I was thinking. Now everything makes sense. Uncle Jing tried his best to hide my identity and worked with the doctor who did the DNA test to fool Hua Jinghai. That's why the Hua family doesn't know about it. Oh wait, I can't say that the Hua family doesn't know. Hua Xiqian knows about my identity. Hua Xiqian. Qin Chu felt extremely uncomfortable when he heard his name. Chapter 674. Yeah. How did he know? I'm not sure, I just have a feeling that he knows a lot of things. Huamin said slowly as he rested his chin on his hand. That's not completely impossible. Anyways, it's better to stay away from Hua Xiqian. I know. Huamin nodded. When they got home, Huamin originally wanted to eat some snacks and watch some soap operas with Qin Chu. However, he picked up a phone call and began to work again. Honey, I'm going to the study for a video conference. Okay. Don't wait up for me, go to bed if you're sleepy. Okay. Huamin nodded obediently. Qin Chu was about to go upstairs when he suddenly stopped and said, Oh right, honey, GK's 30-year anniversary party is next week at the Ritz-Carlton. It's going to be very grand and there's going to be a grand banquet. If you want to invite friends, tell Yang in advance and he'll arrange a list for you. Huamin nodded. Then Qin Chu went into the study and began to work. Huamin, on the other hand, took a shower, changed into his pajamas and played with WeChat in bed. Sisterling, you've been very busy lately, when are you going to come out for dinner? I've been flying a long line lately, damn it. The flight attendant probably thinks I'm too pretty, so she kept delaying my annual leave and wouldn't sign it. I have to work non-stop and have no time to go out and have fun. Everyone has their busy days. The weather is getting colder now, so it's the peak season for your airline. A lot of us northerners are going south because of the cold. Of course. I don't even have time to drink water. I don't want to work anymore. When I marry into a rich family, I'll just quit and live in a mansion like you, drive a luxury car and flirt with super rich people. Don't talk nonsense, when did I flirt with super rich people? Huamin was so angry that he almost vomited blood. That's right. You're not the one trying to flirt with Su Yu. It's Su Yu who wants to flirt with you. Zhu Lingling laughed. Do you think I'm a tea leaf that you can brew whenever you want? Huamin replied. Stop laughing. What's going on between you and Gao Ran recently? There's nothing going on. Are you lying to me like a 3-year-old child? I don't believe you. Nothing really happened. If you don't tell me, I'll have my Lord Qin interrogate Gao Ran. Don't. Actually, we just had a meal together a few days ago. It was his treat. He said that there was a new roasted pig trotter restaurant on the west side of the city, so we went there, Zhu Lingling said with a guilty conscience. What about the roasted pig trotters after you finished eating? Huamin continued to interrogate. After eating the roasted pig trotters, of course we'll go back home and find our mothers. I don't. It's true. Don't overthink it. We're as pure as ethanol. Ethanol isn't pure. It's alcohol, Zhu Lingling. Sis, don't ask anymore. Something happens, I'll definitely tell you. It's fine if you don't tell me. I'm going to ask Lin Xuejiao out for dinner with Gao Ran in the next few days so that they can get back together. Huamin said on purpose. Fuck, you wouldn't dare? Zhu Lingling immediately lost her cool. See? I knew you had something up your sleeve. You're torturing me. I admit that I like him a little, okay? But don't tell me. If he doesn't confess, I won't confess. I'll hold it in. Let's see who'll go crazy from holding it in. Zhu Lingling said proudly. Fine, your way of thinking is ridiculous. Huamin looked helpless. After chatting with Zhu Lingling, Huamin made a cup of coffee and brought it to Qin Chu. Qin Chu was in a video conference with more than a dozen executives on the other side. Huamin immediately saw that Jiang Linyue was there as well, so she purposely put the coffee aside. Then she wrapped her arms around Qin Chu's neck and said coquettishly, Honey, I don't dare to sleep alone. Stop the conference and stay with me. Seeing a young lady acting coquettishly with the big boss, the executives on the other side of the video conference were all confused. Jiang Linyue felt terrible. Chapter 675. Qin Chu turned around dotingly and looked into Huamin's sad eyes. His heart immediately ached. So he turned around and said, That's all for today, thank you for your hard work. The executives were once again in an uproar. The president was at a critical point in the meeting. but a young lady suddenly threw a tantrum and interrupted the meeting. Did you have to be so willful? Sir, we were just at a critical point, but you still haven't told us the details of the lucky draw. Are we going to use our own jewelry or the current Italian brand OW? Jiang Linyue didn't want to give up, so she tried to use work to tie down Qin Chu. Qin Chu coldly glanced at the people in the video and said, "If I'm the one who decides all the details, why would the company need executives like you?" Everyone was speechless. No one dared to say anything. Qin Chu reached out his hand and closed the video without hesitation. "Honey, I'm sorry, next time I'll try to finish it during the day so I don't have to work at night." Qin Chu looked at Huamin apologetically. To be honest, Huamin was extremely touched. She only wanted to play a little trick and show off her territorial rights to that scheming bitch Jiang Linyue. However, she didn't expect Qin Chu to spoil her so much that he even stopped such an important meeting. Even she felt a little guilty. Was she being too reckless? "Honey, why don't you continue with the meeting? I can sit here and keep you company," Huamin tried to persuade him. "No, it's too late. You have to work tomorrow and can't stay up late. Let's go." Qin Chu put his arm around Huamin's shoulder. The two walked out of the study. "Honey, are you hungry?" Qin Chu suddenly asked. Huamin shook her head. The truth was she was sleepy. If she didn't see that Jiang Linyue was also having a video conference, she was going to make Qin Chu a cup of coffee and go back to bed. However, since that woman was there, she had no choice but to act coquettishly. She didn't expect Qin Chu to be so awesome. Without another word, he immediately closed the video conference. He spoiled her to the heavens. On the other side, the boss had already turned off its camera. The others were still there. "Director Jiang, you too? President Qin is famous for doting on his wife. Why did you have to go against him?" Someone sighed. Jiang Linyue said coldly, "If a young lady truly loves President Qin, then she shouldn't interfere with our company's business." What is this? Was he toying with the warlords with the fire beacon? If she keeps messing around like this, GK will fall under her hands sooner or later. She's just a femme fatale. Don't let the president hear this or he'll fire you. Alright, it's getting late, let's all get some rest. The high-ranking officials logged off one after another. Jiang Linyue turned off her computer. Furious. She had prepared a lot of materials and details, and she was going to show them off to the president. However, before she could show them off, Huamin ruined everything. "Huamin, we have a lot of time ahead of us. Other people might be scared of you, but I, Jiang Linyue, am not." Jiang Linyue rolled up the materials she prepared into a ball and threw them into the trash can. On the wide bed, the two fell asleep in each other's arms. Qin Chu hugged Huamin like he was hugging a child. "Honey, will you be this good to me in the future?" Huamin asked as she wrapped her arms around Qin Chu's neck. "Of course. Have you always been like this?" "Yes." Qin Chu didn't hesitate at all. "What about in our next life? If we cross the river of forgetfulness and drink Mingpa's soup, will you still remember me?" "Honey, why are you so sad today?" Qin Chu smiled as he gently stroked Huamin's hair. Chapter 676. "I don't know, I just suddenly had an epiphany," Huamin mumbled quietly. His wife had always been very rational and rarely asked childish questions about her past life like a little girl. However, he was still willing to cooperate and answer, "No matter how many bowls of soup I drink, I will never forget you." Huamin tightened her arms around Qin Chu's waist. She was suddenly very afraid of being separated from Qin Chu. It would be best if they could live like this forever. They could fight, they could have cold wars, but she didn't want to be separated anymore. Although she pretended to be indifferent when Qin Chu was gone and had already let go of him, only she knew that she had never let go. It was the same when she dated Ning Ziyuan for a few years. It was because she was too calm that she didn't care about him at all. She agreed to marry Ning Ziyuan because she knew that there was no hope between her and Qin Chu. Until the king returned. No matter how cruel the methods he used to bring her back to him, it was only because he loved her deeply. During the 7 years in the States, he endured a long period of loneliness and longing. All of this was so that when he returned to China, he could officially marry her. Marrying Huamin was a dream that he had planned since he was young. He had never given up. He would always cherish the time he spent with Huamin. Because time was passing, they were both getting old. He didn't want to waste a single second. Huamin fell asleep peacefully in Qin Chu's arms. Qin Chu gently kissed her forehead. Mion, don't worry, I will do my best to help you find your parents. The next morning, after the two finished breakfast, Chin Chu drove Huamin to South Side and then went to GK. As soon as Huamin arrived at South Side, he was dizzy with work. Ever since the hospital was reformed, it seemed to be many times more popular than before. Some patients even recovered and refused to leave, even if it meant burning money. Huamin was speechless. At that moment Huamin's phone rang. Sister Huamin, I'm waiting for you in the VIP hypnosis room. It was Ni Yang's voice. Okay, I'll be right there. Huamin said a few words and went up to the top floor. Ni Yang was still wearing his sunglasses and mask. Sitting there he looked much better. His eyes were no longer blue and his skin was dark yellow. Sister Huamin. How have you been these days? It's all right. I'm sleeping much better now. I used to sleep less than 4 hours the day before, but now I can sleep for 6.5 hours. 6.5 is not enough. Normal people sleep for 8 hours. You still have to work hard. Ni Yang nodded. Yeah, I know. I've finished watching Naruto. It was so good that I almost cried. As long as you like it. Are there any other cartoons that you can introduce? Slam Dunk. Although the movie is a bit old, the spirit here is worth learning. Okay, I'll download it when I get home today. Don't just play all the time. Hasn't GK started promoting it? They have. Mr. Chin is really awesome. Other than making a New Year's movie for me and Mo Shui, he also made a sci-fi movie for me and a few other Hollywood superstars. However, my schedule is too full right now, so Sister Ingzi has already rescheduled me to 3 months from now. It's good. Don't tire yourself out. Celebrities don't necessarily have to take on more movies. You have to take on quality ones and avoid crappy ones. I know. Have you seen that person recently? Huamin suddenly asked. Ni Yang's originally good mood instantly fell to the bottom. No, I don't want to see her for the rest of my life. About you guys. I'll help you sort things out when I have time. Alright, take these vitamins when you're free. They'll strengthen your immune system. Huamin took out a bottle of vitamins from her white lab coat. Thank you, Sister Huamin. Okay, don't be so polite with me. Call me if you need anything. After sending off Ni Yang, Huamin was just about to go do his rounds when he saw Jiang Shaowei walk in. Huamin, come here for a second. Jiang Shaowei waved her hand and mysteriously called Huamin to the side. Chapter 677. What's wrong? Huamin lowered his voice and asked. Who's Wei Liao? Huamin, why do you look like that? Jiang Shaowei looked at Huamin curiously. You're so scary when you drink too much. I can't believe you actually lost your memory. Huamin stared at Jiang Shaowei and said word for word. Did I miss something important? Jiang Shaowei really did drink too much that day, even though she took some hangover medicine. However, drinking that much still took her life. She might have pretended to be sober at Seductive Fox, but when she got home and went to bed she basically forgot everything. The next day when she woke up at noon she saw that her ceiling was still spinning. She didn't eat anything that day, because it reeked of alcohol. She locked her door and pretended to be sick, afraid that her parents would go crazy if they found out. Jiang Shaowei's parents were famous professors and came from a family of scholars. They had high expectations of her and their family rules were strict. Therefore her parents didn't know that Jiang Shaowei was so rebellious in private. It seemed like Jiang Shaowei really forgot. Huamin pulled her into his office and told her everything that happened that day. I actually did something like that. What do you think? You're still very inhumane when you drink too much. Huamin sighed. No wonder that Wei Liao kept adding me on WeChat. I thought he was harassing me. Huamin. Oh right, did you record what happened that day? It must have been fun for him to run around naked, right? Of course not, Wei Liao would kill me. Only Suyu would do something so immoral. Huamin vaguely remembered that Suyu seemed to have recorded a video of him gloating that day. Other people wouldn't dare to record it even if they had more guts. Really? He has a record. Then I'll go back and ask Suyu for it. Do you know Suyu? Huamin was a little surprised. I don't know him. Don't you know him? Jiang Shaowei said matter-of-factly. Huamin, I know him but I don't really know him. Plus, if Mr. Chin finds out that I've met Suyu in private he'll get jealous. I can't do something that would make Mr. Chin jealous. Alright. I'll settle it myself. After speaking, Jiang Shaowei got up to leave. Is the engagement still reliable? Who knows? Let them arrange it for the time being. When the day comes, whether or not I go depends on my mood. After speaking, Jiang Shaowei turned around and left. Everyone said that Huamin was capricious. Huamin thought that compared to Jiang Shaowei he was like an idiot. This woman didn't even think about getting engaged, how could she stand him up? He was Gao Ran's cousin, so he had to take care of him. When Huamin got off work he had to go back to South Hill Manor with Mr. Qin because it was Friday. Therefore she enthusiastically went to GK first. Recently, GK was busy with the 30-year anniversary, so everyone was working overtime. It looked very grand. As soon as Huamin entered the company, all the employees greeted him. A young lady was already announced to the world by their boss, so no one dared to offend her. Huamin was about to go upstairs, but he suddenly saw Zhang Linyue in the lobby. He wasn't in a hurry to leave, so he lingered in front of the elevator for a while. Zhang Linyue was wearing a dark blue suit and black high heels. Her hair was loose, reaching her waist. She was beautiful, had a great figure, and was capable. However, it was best not to have any wishful thinking. Although Huamin usually looked gentle and honest, she had a very bad habit. She abhorred evil, and once someone truly angered her, she would never let them off lightly. Zhang Linyue glanced at Huamin, but she didn't seem to have any intention of greeting him. Instead, she looked down and played with her phone. "Director Jiang, you're not young anymore, right?" Huamin smiled and took the initiative to speak. Zhang Linyue tilted her head and looked at Huamin with a complicated expression, full of hostility. Chapter 678. Since you're not young anymore, you should have a boyfriend by now, right? Does it have anything to do with a young lady whether I have a boyfriend or not? Zhang Linyue asked provocatively. Huamin smiled faintly. Of course it doesn't matter to me if you have a boyfriend or not, but if you have ulterior motives towards Qin Chu, then I can't just sit back and do nothing, you know? It's really unwise to steal something that doesn't belong to you. Huh. I haven't even tried, how do you know that it doesn't belong to me? Zhang Linyue seemed unconvinced. You have to be capable to be a mistress. At the very least you have to be liked by a man. If a man doesn't even look at you, then you're not a mistress, you're shameless, got it? You're the type that offers yourself to him but he doesn't even want you. Huamin felt like there was no need to be polite when talking to Zhang Linyue. She should have slapped Huamian for taking Qin Chu's call in private that day. When they went home that day, Huamin specifically checked Qin Chu's phone, and sure enough, this woman deleted the call history. From the looks of it, Qin Chu didn't know about this phone call. It was rare to see such a disgusting woman with such a disgusting method. A young lady, aren't you always full of confidence? When did you lose your confidence? Did you come here to warn me because you sense danger? Is it because I'm making you feel pressured? Or is it because the boss hasn't been treating you well lately so you're taking it out on me, huh? Huamin chuckled quietly. What are you laughing at? Zhang Linyue hated Huamin's fearless expression the most. It was as if she wouldn't be afraid even if the sky collapsed. I'm laughing at you. You think you're so smart, but you don't understand what I'm trying to say. Since you don't understand, then I'll be frank with you. I'm here to warn you not because you're a threat to me, but because I don't want my things to be taken away by someone else. What I'm trying to say is, if you keep looking for trouble, then prepare a coffin for yourself because anyone who touches my man will die. Just as she finished speaking with a smile, the elevator came down. Huamin walked into the elevator and ignored Zhang Linyue. Zhang Linyue stood in place, her face pale with anger. She really hated Huamin's face. If they weren't at GK, she would have beaten her up and scratched her face. What are you being so arrogant for? Wasn't she just relying on the fact that she had slept with a boss 7 years ago? She was already so scheming in high school, but don't forget that men were creatures who thought with their lower bodies. She didn't believe that Qin Chu and Huamian's relationship was stronger than gold. He had to try. Otherwise, she would have suffered all these years at GK for nothing. When Huamin entered the office, Qin Chu had not returned yet. She sat on the sofa and read a magazine while Xiaoyang poured her a glass of warm milk. Why is it hot milk and not coffee? Not tea? Huamin thought it was strange that Qin Chu would serve her milk. I'm sorry, a young lady. The boss said that you guys are planning on having a baby, so he doesn't want you to drink too much of that stuff. Tea is good, but it can cause insomnia, so milk is the healthiest. Did he have to tell me that himself? Huamin was a little dumbfounded. However, she still felt warm inside. After all, Mr. Qin had thought of every detail for her. When Jiang Xiaowei was at work, she received a special patient. The patient asked her to meet at a bistro. She curiously went to the appointment, but when she saw that it was Wei Liao, she immediately remembered what happened. "Dr. Jiang, how have you been?" Wei Liao smiled. "You're the patient who asked me to see a doctor?" Jiang Xiaowei was speechless. She was a psychiatrist specially hired by the Ministry of Public Security, and she would only see patients when the Ministry of Public Security arranged for her. Last time when she went to hypnotize Ni Yang, it was Gao Ran who invited her. This time the director of the Public Security Bureau personally called her, so she thought it was some big shot. It turned out to be this person. Chapter 679. Let me put it this way, Du Jianan wants to marry me because of the Jiang family's scholarly background. I don't have a romantic history, so it sounds nice to say that I'm suitable to be his wife. I want to marry him because he's young, rich, not ugly, elegant, and smart. Everything is perfect. At our age, don't even talk about love because sometimes love is like a ghost. Many people have heard of it, but few have seen it. I didn't know you were such a pessimistic person. Wei Liao didn't expect Jiang Xiaowei, who had a pair of canine teeth, to be so sad. It turned out that she was such a sad person. She even thought that love was a non-existent thing. How pitiful. You've never had a boyfriend before? Does kindergarten count? Fine, you win. Wei Liao suddenly thought of something. It wasn't good for a woman to be too smart. No man liked a woman who was too smart. Even someone as smart as Huamin was still muddle-headed in front of Qin Chu. So, no matter how beautiful and outstanding Jiang Xiaowei was, she had never met someone who truly loved her. Or perhaps there was someone who loved her but she didn't like them, so she never had a romantic history. Don't look at me with that pitiful gaze, I don't feel good. Come, Dr. Jiang, sit down and let's talk. Wei Liao suddenly felt sympathetic. Sorry, my time is precious. If you're not going to treat me, then I'm leaving. Seeing that Wei Liao was bullshitting, Jiang Xiaowei didn't want to waste any more time with him. Jiang Xiaowei was such a smart and logical person. After Jiang Xiaowei left, Wei Liao couldn't calm down. He felt that Jiang Xiaowei was too pitiful. She knew that marriage was like a graveyard, but she still stepped into it. Why did he feel so bad? DK headquarters, Huamin was waiting for Qin Chu and he was a bit drowsy. Just as he was about to fall asleep, Qin Chu pushed open the door and walked in. As soon as he saw Huamin, his gaze became gentle. "Honey, have you been waiting for a long time?" "Not long, about the time I took to drink a glass of milk." Huamin pointed at the glass and smiled. "Good boy. Drink more milk and less coffee and tea from now on." "I know." Huamin smiled. She rubbed her eyes and was about to speak to Qin Chu. Jiang Linyue walked in. "President Qin, the list of all the drinks at the banquet is here. Take a look at the prices and brands. Put it here." Qin Chu didn't even raise his head. "But Huamin, Qin Chu's Huamin Qin. You flatter me, a young lady is too kind," Jiang Linyue said coldly. Huamin smiled as he walked up to Qin Chu. He intimately held on to Qin Chu's arm and smiled. "Honey, Director Jiang is so capable, it would be a waste for her to stay here and be the director of a department. In my opinion, it would be better for her to be transferred to a subsidiary company and be the president." Upon hearing this, Jiang Linyue's expression changed drastically. Qin Chu only said coldly, "She doesn't have enough experience." "No, she's very capable. Last time when I came to save the day, she helped me a lot." "Honey, after the incident in T-City, you fired the president and there's no suitable candidate. I think Director Jiang is the best candidate," Huamin said on purpose. Only then did Qin Chu look up because he realized that Huamian was starting to be aggressive towards Jiang Linyue. The subsidiary company in T-City was a mess, and no one dared to take it, not to mention Jiang Linyue. Upon hearing Huamin's words, Jiang Linyue was scared out of her wits. She immediately said, "President Qin, no, I don't want to go. I've been working in the luxury department for years and I really like this job." Qin Chu glanced at Jiang Linyue and didn't say anything, as if he was calculating something in his mind. "Honey, what do you think of my suggestion?" Huamin coquettishly shook Qin Chu's arm. Chapter 680. Whatever you say, honey. Qin Chu's voice was always infinitely gentle in front of Huamin. Upon hearing Qin Chu's words, Jiang Linyue's face turned pale. The president loved his wife so much that he was willing to transfer a woman who didn't know how to manage a company. Yet the president acquiesced. Was there still any justice in this? Director Jiang, what do you think of my suggestion? Huamin wrapped his arms around Qin Chu's neck from behind and smiled at Jiang Linyue. I don't think a young lady's decision is wise. After all, I'm only a design director. I don't think I'm good enough to manage a subsidiary company. Jiang Linyue was furious as she replied with clenched teeth. No, I think you're too capable. You've always done a good job. Being a design director is a waste of your talent. We believe in you. Jiang Linyue was about to refute. However, Huamin continued, of course. If you don't think you're good enough for this position, you can resign. After all, everyone has their own choices. Don't worry, since you've been with the company for many years, President Qin will give you an unemployment guarantee. Upon hearing this, Jiang Linyue's face turned completely dark. I won't resign, I'm good enough. Thank you, a young lady, for giving me this job. Jiang Linyue bit her lip and said stiffly. If that's the case, then you can take over today. Fly to T-City tonight. There are still a lot of things waiting to be taken care of. Leaving tonight? Isn't that too soon? Jiang Linyue looked at Qin Chu pleadingly. It was as if she was hoping that the president would say something for her. But, do as my wife says. If you have any problems, talk to Assistant Yang. That's all. After Qin Chu spoke faintly, he lowered his head and continued to look at the data. Jiang Linyue's smile was uglier than her crying face. Thank you, President Qin. Thank you, a young lady, for helping me. She clenched her teeth and left with hatred in her heart. After Jiang Linyue left, Qin Chu looked up and lovingly pinched Huamin's cheek. This is the first time I've seen you jealous. You're so overbearing. What? You don't like it? Huamin tried not to laugh. No, I like it. If you're always so domineering, you can be the president of GK. I'll go home and cook for you and take care of the kids. All right, I'll keep my word. Huamin couldn't stop laughing. Of course, but the premise is that we have to have a child first. Otherwise, how can I raise it? After saying that, Qin Chu suddenly turned around and hugged Huamin, letting her sit in his arms. Hey, this is the office, don't mess around. Huamin was scared out of his wits. It's fine. There are no surveillance cameras in the office. It's not about the surveillance, but what if someone comes in? Huamin didn't finish his sentence. His words were drowned by Qin Chu's overbearing kiss. Of course, he knew that they were in the office. He didn't want to do anything, he just wanted to kiss her. So wasn't his wife a little too impure for overthinking things? When Jiang Linyue walked out of the president's office, she had already cursed Huamin 1,000 times in her mind. She didn't think that woman would be so reckless as to transfer her. She didn't expect the president to agree. Was he trying to force her to resign? Back off? Would she? No, wasn't it just a branch company? He was going to persevere. She wasn't going to be easily defeated by that woman, Huamin. A little impatience spoils great plans. Director Jiang, are you okay? The assistant asked when she saw that Jiang Linyue didn't look well. Starting today, I'm no longer your director. I've been transferred to the branch company in T-City as the president. After speaking, Jiang Linyue began to pack her things with a grim expression. When Jiang Linyue was transferred, the news spread within GK. There were also rumors that she offended the president's wife. That was why she was exiled. Finally, when it was time to get off work, Qin Chu held Huamin's hand and walked out of GK's headquarters. The two were planning to go straight home to South Hill Manor, but as soon as they got into the car, Qin Chu received a call. Young master. Madame Lin is in the hospital, the maid said anxiously. It was really tiring for his family to fight like this. However, Lady Qin didn't seem to have any intention of reflecting. Call Chu again, tell him that I'm critically ill. The doctor said that my life is in danger, Lady Qin said as she pointed at the maid. Madam, is that really okay? If young master finds out that I lied to him, will he? The maid seemed to be worried. Chapter 682. Just call when I tell you to. What's with the nonsense? Are you the master or am I the master? Since Lady Qin was pressuring her again, the maid quietly took out her phone and dialed again. Sorry, the number you have dialed is currently unavailable. Madam, did the young master turn off his phone? The maid quietly asked. It probably ran out of battery, it'll turn back on in a moment. Keep calling, don't stop. Lady Qin almost perversely pestered her son. Qin Chu knew this would happen, so he turned off his phone a long time ago. He had another phone that Assistant Yang and Huamin could contact. Therefore, he wasn't worried about an emergency at the company. Honey, you used to look down on other people. Why are you suddenly interested in dealing with an insignificant employee of our company? Qin Chu was still in a good mood when he thought about how his wife taught Jiang Linyue a lesson today. He hadn't seen his wife so adorable in a long time. That's because she's too cocky. She wouldn't have died if she didn't ask for it, but she had to. I had to send her on her way. Why didn't you just fire her? Out of sight, out of mind. Qin Chu didn't have any feelings towards Jiang Linyue. In fact, he hated her. Therefore, he wanted to find an opportunity to fire her. However, Huamin said, I have to know my enemy well. I can't let her hide in the dark. If I fire her, who knows where she'll continue to cause trouble. It's better to keep her in the company so I can observe her at all times. Of course, T-City is far away, but I trust that you'll take care of everything and won't give that woman a chance to cause trouble. Qin Chu looked at her dotingly. You're the smartest person in the world. You made the decision and you meant what you said. Now I have to deal with the aftermath. You're smart. Of course you're my husband. Huamin smiled. When the two returned to South Hill Manor, it was already 6:30 p.m. The butler, Uncle Li, had already prepared an exquisite dinner. Huamin and Qin Chu washed their hands and began eating. Honey, there's too much food, I can't finish it. Huamin didn't have much of an appetite recently, so he couldn't finish the bowl of rice the maid gave him. A young lady, let me pour it out for you. A maid immediately came up to help her. Give it to me, Qin Chu suddenly said. The maid was slightly startled as if she didn't understand her master's intentions. Give me the rice, honey. That's my leftovers. We're all in this together, don't worry about the rice, huh? Huamin joked. It's okay. I don't dislike you. Qin Chu took Huamin's leftover rice from the maid and gracefully put it into his own bowl. Then he slowly ate his food. Huamin suddenly felt a subtle change in his heart. Her husband, a clean freak, actually ate her leftovers. She thought even if it was his parents he probably wouldn't do something like this. So to him, was she really just his wife? Perhaps in a way she was more than just his wife. Huamin sighed emotionally as she held her chin and quietly watched Qin Chu eat. Qin Chu's table manners were the best she had ever seen. He ate slowly and methodically. Even the expression on his face when he chewed was incomparably handsome. Although he didn't like to smile, perhaps it was this cold temperament that attracted her many years ago. It made her ignore the world's opinions and decide to have a passionate relationship with him. Why are you looking at me like that? Qin Chu looked up and saw Huamian staring at him with her chin in her hand. Chapter 683. You're so weird. You're a clean freak. But you can eat my leftovers. Huamin vaguely remembered that when they were in high school, one of their classmates accidentally spilled milk on Qin Chu's clothes. At the time, the girl was very apologetic and offered to take the milk to Qin Chu's dry cleaning. However, Qin Chu took off his clothes and threw them into the trash can. Since then, he never wore clothes from that brand again. Everyone knew that he was a clean freak and kept people away. However, Huamin stepped on his feet and used scissors to secretly cut off the sleeves of his camouflage uniform during military training. He put a handful of chili powder in his water glass. He even slept on his desk and drooled all over his body. Now that he thought about it, those memories were simply too unbearable. Your leftovers are delicious, Qin Chu said out of the blue. Huamin was speechless. Honey, didn't you think I was annoying before? I was so arrogant and pretentious. And I always played pranks on you. Of course I did, Qin Chu calmly replied as he ate. Then why do you still like me? Who said I like you? Huamin was speechless. I'm obviously taking revenge on you. I hate you so much, that's why I'm keeping you by my side. Huamin was speechless. Wait, honey, you win. Huamin didn't know what to say about his revenge theory. After dinner, Qin Chu elegantly wiped his mouth and stood up. Let's go. Where are we going? Huamin looked suspicious. I heard that someone bought a lot of vegetable seeds and wants to grow them with her own hands, right? Qin Chu looked at Huamin, amused. Ahem, do you think I'm childish? You're right, you are childish. But I like it. If he liked her, he liked everything about her, including her childish nature. After changing into their home clothes, the two held hands and walked to the vegetable garden behind the castle. The gardeners were so surprised that their jaws almost dropped. Sir, madam, let us do this, or else you'll be covered in dirt. It's okay, we can do it ourselves. You guys should go get some rest. Huamin smiled. She and Qin Chu were busy talking about all kinds of things. Under the gardener's instructions, Qin Chu picked up a hoe and dug a hole. Huamin planted the seeds, buried them and watered them. Huamin and Qin Chu were quite tired, but they were happy. By the time they finished planting, it was already 8:30 p.m. The sky was completely dark. The two of them sat on the swings in the backyard. Huamian nestled in Qin Chu's arms and swung on the swing. Then he looked at the stars in the sky and listened to the sound of cicadas. Honey, did you know? This kind of life was something I didn't even dare to imagine. But now it's happening, Huamin exclaimed. Qin Chu gently stroked Huamin's hair. If you like, we can live like this for the rest of our lives. Yes, for the rest of our lives. Huamin tightly held onto Qin Chu's hand. It was rare for the two of them to find peace in the midst of chaos. At the seductive Fox nightclub, Suyu had been very quiet lately. After his battle with Qin Chu, although he lost, his desire for battle was aroused. Therefore he invested most of his energy into his company, trying to compete with GK film and television. While drinking, Suyu suddenly thought of something. He smiled and asked Wei Liao, the girl who made you run around naked the other day, have you been in contact with her lately? No wonder Lord Su was the big boss of the entertainment industry. He was very gossipy. Oh, her. I've been in contact with her. I plan on attending her engagement ceremony this Sunday, Wei Liao slowly said as he held onto his wine glass. Engagement ceremony? Su Yu and Tang Chuan both spat out their wine. Chapter 684. What's going on? Tang Chuan opened his mouth wide as he looked at Wei Liao. Even though Wei Liao wasn't the best at flirting with girls, he had never failed in his attempts. He finally met someone he was interested in, but now he had to attend her engagement ceremony? Nothing's going on. Wei Liao smiled helplessly. Have you guys slept together yet? Tang Chuan asked. Oh, fuck. Then I'm looking down on you. Tang Chuan felt like that girl was a cooked duck that flew away. That day at Seductive Fox she was so ruthless. In the end she was getting engaged, and the most unforgivable thing was that she hadn't slept with Wei Liao yet. Maybe we're just not fated. Wei Liao was honestly interested in Jiang Shaowei. But she wasn't interested in him. Plus they were about to get engaged. They were well matched, so he shouldn't get involved, right? Don't say such depressing things to me. You have to learn from our Lord Su. Even if you're married, you won't give up on her. What does that have to do with me? Su looked innocent. He was being attacked for no reason. No, what I mean is, our young Master Wei finally met a woman who's not bad, not pretentious, not a green tea and not a biological mother. Thought his spring was coming. Who would have thought that before spring came it's already winter? Tang Chuan felt bad for Wei Liao. I can't help it. It's my fault for being late. Wei Liao spread his hands. At the mention of this, Su Yu felt depressed again. So what if I'm late? It's fate that we met. I'm different from what you think. I won't pester Huamin, but I won't give up. It seemed like Su Yu had made up his mind. Look at Lord Su and then look at you. Tang Chuan looked at Wei Liao with disdain. Wei Liao only chuckled. His personality wasn't as fiery as Su Yu's, nor was he as direct. Although it was a pity to miss out on Jiang Shaowei, but it wasn't that unacceptable. After all, they had not interacted much with each other. Therefore he didn't feel too bad. He just felt a little regretful. The next morning Qin Chu woke up early and accompanied Huamin to have breakfast. Although it was the weekend, Qin Chu had to work overtime because GK was preparing for its 30-year anniversary party. Huamin wanted to go with her, but she had no choice. The board of directors of the Huo Corporation had to attend, so she could only return to the Huo Corporation first. Honey, come home early today. What are the benefits? Qin Chu smiled. There will definitely be benefits. I've already bought a whip and candles for you at home, Huamin teased. Qin Chu smiled. Okay, then I'll come home early today. I'll make sure to have fun with you. After breakfast, Qin Chu drove away. Huamin also drove to the Huo Corporation. On the way, Qin Chu received a phone call. President Qin, I found the IP address of that hater, a young lady. She's a woman named He-Man. I mean, you guys know what to do, right? Qin Chu asked coldly. We do, but... The person on the other end of the phone hesitated. Go on. But that woman was in an accident and is still lying in the hospital. She was in a car accident yesterday and broke one of her legs. I heard that the driver who caused the accident fled, and the surveillance cameras at the scene of the accident were destroyed. I'm guessing that she offended someone else, so what should we do now? Should we just... The person on the other end paused, but his intentions were obvious. Chapter 685. Qin Chu was silent for 3 seconds. Not for now, let's observe her for now. If she continues to defame Huamin, kill her without mercy. Yes, President Qin. After hanging up the phone, Qin Chu let out a sigh of relief. For the past few days, he had been looking for the person who posted the post to defame Huamin. Huamin's 10 deadly sins had a lot of influence, plus his mother's stab in the back. Gossip was a fearful thing. Luckily, Huamin was more open-minded, or else he wouldn't have been able to withstand the pressure of public opinion. Qin Chu didn't know much about He-Man. He also didn't remember any grudges between her and Huamin. However, he just had to remember one thing. Anyone who hurt Huamin would never be forgiven, no matter who it was. As Huamin drove to the Hu Corporation, he received a WeChat message from Huang Yu. Good news, even God can't stand that bitch He-Man anymore. What's wrong? Huamin put on his earphones and called Huang Yu. Mion. She got into a car accident last night. It's terrible, one of her legs was crushed. She's still in the hospital for emergency treatment. The driver who caused the accident has already escaped, and the police can't do anything about it. She paid for all the money herself. I heard that her father came from the countryside and sold their old house, but they still didn't have enough money. Her sugar daddy saw that her leg was broken, so he ignored her. However, Ning Ziyuan came to visit her a few times. I think he left her some money and then he left. I see. Huamin said faintly. God has eyes, that woman He-Man is so annoying. She came back to the hospital and no nurse took care of her. Her parents took turns coming and some relatives from her hometown came as well. This is karma. Okay, I got it. After hanging up the phone, Huamin suddenly thought of something. When he went to visit Wu Xiaoxue, he vaguely heard her say that she wouldn't let this go. Could this matter be related to Wu Xiaoxue? When Wu Xiaoxue got into a car accident, the driver also ran away and almost lost the child in her womb. Now that He-Man had met with an accident in the same way, was it really the will of the heavens? Of course not. Huamin felt that it was man-made. However, she didn't think Wu Xiaoxue did anything wrong. An eye for an eye. When they arrived at the Hu Corporation, there were still 10 minutes before the meeting. Huamin wanted to wait in the conference room for a while. Then Hu Yanyan walked in. During the board meeting later, remember to speak up for my brother. This time, it's a decision to make him the deputy general manager. Our intention is to gradually take away Hu Xiqian's power. Dad has the same idea. You should know what to do, right? I don't need you to teach me what to do. Huamin lowered her head and played a game on her phone. Huamin, do you think that you can do whatever you want just because you have Qin Chu's support, huh? Hu Yanyan asked loudly as she walked over with jealousy. Yeah. After I have Qin Chu's support, I feel like the whole world is mine. What's wrong? What's wrong with that? If you have the ability, then you can do it too. Don't you like Suyu? Then go ahead and do it. Why are you wasting your breath on me? What kind of ability is that? Hu Yanyan was so angry that her face turned white. I really want to rip that mouth of yours apart. Dad told me not to lower myself to your level, you bastard. I'll ignore you for now, we'll see what happens. Hu Yanyan really wanted to throw a tantrum. However, they were in the conference room and the board meeting was in 10 minutes. She didn't dare to go too far. Soon everyone walked in one after another. There were more than 10 board members, including Hu Yanyan, Hu Jinghai, Shenjiani, Hu Si, and Hu Yanyan. Hu Xiqian was the last to enter. After he sat down in the middle, he first looked around. Then his gaze landed on Huamin's face. Little sister Mion, your lipstick color today is really pretty. He smiled. After he said this, all the board members were dumbfounded. What was President Hu doing? Chapter 686. Thank you, Big Brother. Huamin didn't back down and called Hu Xiqian Big Brother for the first time in many years. She was now GK's a young lady, and she didn't want others to misunderstand her, especially Hu Xiqian's gossip. I've known you for so many years, but this is the first time you've called me Big Brother. I'm going to drink a lot this afternoon just because of what you said. Then Hu Xiqian opened up the document in front of him, glanced at it and slowly said, I'm sure everyone knows the purpose of today's meeting. We're here to make a statement and appoint my brother, Mr. Huasi, as the Deputy General Manager of GK. Although the Hu Corporation is a family business, we can't do without the support of the shareholders. Therefore, I hope everyone can make a fair decision on this important matter. There's no need to worry and everyone can say whatever they want. After Hu Xiqian finished speaking, no one said anything. After all, no one wanted to start this conversation. Hu Xiqian smiled and glanced at Hu Jinghai. Dad, why don't you say something to cheer my brother on? Okay, then I'll say a few words. C is a big boy and everyone can see that he has a good character and is humble. Therefore, in order for him to help his brother with the company's workload, I've decided to give him an important task early on. Please support me. After Hu Jinghai finished speaking, an elder immediately followed suit. I support the chairman's decision. C has the ability. Everyone, let's begin. Hu Xiqian spread out his hands and smiled slightly. Hu Si leaned back in his chair, wearing a suit, looking arrogant. He believed that with his father's protection he would definitely be able to get to this position and then find a chance to kick Hu Xiqian out. Yan Yan and I also support C. We all believe in him. Everyone, please give him a chance, Xinjiani said gently. Mion, what do you think? Hu Jinghai didn't let Hu Min off the hook. Hu Min seemed to be in a difficult position. It's okay. Just say what you want to say. Don't be afraid. We're all family. Xinjiani smiled. That smile was so fake that it made people want to vomit. Let me think about it. Let's get everyone to express their opinions first. Hu Min smiled. Then the others began to vote, of course. There were also those who didn't want Hu Si to be promoted easily. After all, he was young and inexperienced. However, the final conclusion was that out of the 16 board members, 10 agreed and 5 disagreed. In the end, only Hu Min hadn't voted yet. Mion, have you made up your mind? Xinjiani asked impatiently. Hu Min glanced at Hu Xiqian and saw that he was smiling very proudly. Therefore she nodded and said, I support C to be the Deputy General Manager. I believe he can do it. Hu Si looked at Hu Min with disdain. Hu Yanyan smiled proudly. Upon hearing that Hu Min finally agreed, Hu Jinghai and Xinjiani let out a sigh of relief. Hu Xiqian smiled as well. Okay, since the result is obvious, I now announce. Mr. Hu Si has been elected as the Deputy General Manager of the corporation. At the same time, he will be taking over the renovation of the old houses in the Western City. I hope you won't disappoint everyone. Of course. Thank you, big brother. Hu Si stood up and smiled. Everyone applauded. Xiqian, the project in the Western City is too big. If we give it to C. Hu Jinghai seemed to be worried. Dad, didn't you just say that you believe in C? If you believe in him, then don't worry and let him do it. We have to believe in C's ability. You're right, he's not a child anymore, Hu Xiqian said as he looked at Hu Jinghai. After the meeting ended, Hu Min was just about to leave when Hu Xiqian's secretary called out to him. Miss Hu, the president wants to see you. Okay. Hu Min stopped in his tracks, turned around and knocked on the door. Come in. You were looking for me? Hu Min asked straightforwardly as soon as he walked in. Sit down. I still have things to do. Hu Min refused to sit down. Weren't you pretty good at going against me just now? You were pretty brave when you supported Hu Si. What? Are you scared now? Are you scared that I'll teach you a lesson? Hu Xiqian laughed. Chapter 687. Upon hearing what he said, Hu Min laughed. How can you accuse a good person like that? I wasn't helping him. I was helping you indirectly. After all, you allowed him to be the Deputy General Manager. Oh? When did I allow it? Hu Xiqian continued to smile meaningfully. Do you think I don't know that aside from the old man, his wife and his children, everyone else on the board of directors is on your side? I don't think that's their intention. It only means that you allowed Hu Si to be the general manager. How can you blame me for that? I was just taking advantage of the situation. Oh my, you're so smart. No wonder you waited until the end to say it. You were looking at everyone else's attitude. What if my people don't agree? What will you say? Are you stupid? If your people don't agree, then it's useless even if I agree. After all, the majority rules, so I won't go against them for now. After all, the time isn't right yet. But I like to kill with a borrowed knife. So it's not a bad idea to help you. Hu Min saw through Hu Xiqian's intentions and even did Hu Jinghai a favor. He made Shinjiani and the others think that Huamin was on their side. Huamian's IQ was unparalleled. But what was the truth? She already knew that the board of directors meeting was just a gimmick. Hua Xiqian already allowed Hua Si to be the manager, which meant that he was going to teach him a lesson. Sometimes the higher you fly, the more painful the fall. However, not everyone understood this logic. The old man probably thought that the board of directors still cared about his prestige and reputation. He didn't realize that Hua Xiqian already had the ability to control the entire situation. Therefore, the Hua family was bound to lose. No, the old man and his family were bound to lose. None of them were a match for Hua Xiqian. Jiang Hong had been raising a ferocious wolf all these years. However, Hua Zhenghai had always treated her like a little lamb. Huamin began to sympathize with these people who couldn't see the situation clearly. Okay, Mian, you're so smart. I like you so much. Hua Xiqian's eyes were full of admiration. Huamin's thoughts were too comprehensive. She didn't seem like a 24-year-old girl at all. I don't like you. If you want to make a move, hurry up. That way I won't have to do it myself. Huamin reminded her impolitely. Don't worry, he won't be able to live for long. If God wants you to die, he'll make you go crazy. We'll let that idiot Hua Si have his way for a few days. When the time is right, haha, his good days will come to an end. Do you know my favorite game when I was little? Every time I catch a bug, I don't immediately stomp it to death. Instead, I torture it to death bit by bit. Because I realize that the process of torturing people is extremely enjoyable. That's because you're a pervert. Society is so messed up. I'm not the only one who's a pervert. Everyone's hearts are twisted, they just don't want to admit it. Okay, that's your problem. We're just dealing with a common enemy. Remember, I was never your ally and you can't use me. When this is over, I'll leave the Hua Corporation. I won't take a single cent from you. After speaking, Huamin walked out. Little sister Mian, you're welcome to come home and stay for a while. Hua Xiqian added. That won't happen again. After Huamin spoke, he left without looking back. Last time, if it weren't for the fact that she wanted to help Qin Chu turn the situation around, would she have made a deal with a devil like Hua Xiqian? Although she stayed at the Hua family for one night and nothing terrible happened, but Huamin still felt unsafe, a faint sense of uneasiness. It was an indescribably bad omen. Let's eat together. I booked a restaurant for Si to celebrate. Huamin stopped Hua Zhenghai on the first floor. It's okay, I still have things to do. Then did you make an appointment with Qin Chu for me? The thing. Hua Zhenghai hesitated. Chapter 688. As expected, this old man always had a purpose behind his words. I've already told you. You can make an appointment with your assistants later. Then about Suyu, you can't help Yen. Auntie Shin said she won't let you help for free. She can transfer the ownership of the mansion at Eastern Jiujiang Ecological Park to you. All you need is a referral. Nothing else. I'm sorry, Mr. Hua, I don't know Suyu that well, and I don't have the ability to take your mansion. Too expensive. After speaking, Huamin placed her bag on the passenger seat of her Audi R8 and got into the car. Give her a mansion? Did she need one now? Head nurse, I'm sorry to bother you on the weekend. Can you come back for a bit? What's wrong? Huamin picked up the call from a nurse at Southside. A large group of fans and reporters are gathered here. I don't know who spread the rumor that Ni Yang is here for treatment and that he's suffering from depression. The situation is very chaotic right now. President Wu is in the States and can't come back. There's no one in charge here, so Director Li told me to call you. Wait for me, I'll be right there. Huamin stepped on the gas pedal and sped towards Southside. Ni Yang's medical records were leaked? Who leaked it? How many people knew about it? When Huamin arrived at Southside, it was indeed a mess. Even someone as calm as her was frightened by the situation in front of her. A large group of fans surrounded the entrance of the hospital. There were also various news outlets and the police, but it seemed like the situation was still in a stalemate. Gao Ren, what's going on? Huamin hadn't seen Gao Ren in days. Seeing that he was giving orders in the middle of the crowd, she went up to him to ask. Don't even mention it. I don't know who leaked the news that Ni Yang was here to treat his illness, but they're all in a mess now. I haven't eaten all morning and I've been here trying to maintain order. I told them to leave but they wouldn't listen. These fans are so shameless. Gao Ran complained. This was supposed to be a matter of the police station. But there were too many people and the police force was not enough. requesting backup. In order to prevent further trouble, the director had personally ordered him to lead the team here. Right. I'll go in and take a look. What's the situation inside? As Huamin walked in, his phone rang. Sister Huamin, ancestor, where are you? Huamin called Ni Yang a few times on the way, but he couldn't get through. He was also very anxious. I'm trapped on the top floor. I don't dare to go down. Some fans disguised themselves as patients and sneaked into the hospital. What should I do? I can't get out. I still have an interview in the afternoon. Why didn't you tell me you were coming? Huamin was also helpless. Director Li said she'd give me a checkup, so I didn't think much of it. I don't know who leaked the news. Sister Ingzi is mad at Director Li right now. Alright, just stand there and don't move. I'll be right there. After Huamin went in, he changed into a white lab coat. Head nurse, you're finally here. Hurry up and take a look. The truth was, Huamin knew that he was just a small mayor and didn't have the ability to stand up for the hospital. Although after Deputy Director Guo's accident, the position of Deputy Director had been empty, however, there were still a lot of leaders who could step in. As for why they didn't step in, it was because they didn't want to take responsibility. After all, this incident was too sensational. If they handled it well, they would feel that they deserved it. If they didn't, they would definitely be punished. Everyone would push Huamin out as cannon fodder for a thankless task like this. This was because they felt that Huamin's current status was too prestigious. Even if something happened to him, President Wu wouldn't blame him for President Qin's sake. Huamin understood them, so he didn't complain even if he was used as cannon fodder. After she went up to the top floor, she saw Ni Yang pacing back and forth in the hypnosis room with a mask on. Sister Huamin, you're finally here. What should I do? There's still an hour before the interview starts. I haven't even changed my clothes or put on makeup. It's only half an hour to get to the TV station. What should I do? Chapter 689. If it was any other interview they could cancel it, but Legend was a live broadcast. They already advertised it, so if they didn't do it, they probably wouldn't be able to do it in the future. Jean Lon was a very principled person. Don't worry, I'll think of something. Huamin didn't know what to do. Time was of the essence. Those fans are amazing. They can recognize me no matter what I'm wearing. Even if I'm dressed as a woman, they'll probably recognize me. There are so many people at the entrance of the hospital right now. Not even a fly can get out. Ni Yang was a bit regretful. It would be a shame if he couldn't get on Legend. Outside the door, his manager, Sister Ingzi, and Director Li were yelling, "How many times do I have to tell you what your hospital is doing? You can't let anyone know about this, it's ridiculous, now the whole world knows about it. I'm telling you, if there's any negative news about Ni Yang, I'll sue your hospital and you, the attending doctor." Director Li was an old woman, but she had never seen anything like this. We've always been good at keeping secrets. I really don't know what's going on. Don't worry, we can discuss it together. Discuss what, huh? They're blocking our way. Legend started advertising half a month ago, saying that Ni Yang is going to do a live broadcast today. But now, there's only an hour left and Ni Yang still hasn't left the hospital. There's a sea of people outside. What do you think we should do? Director Li was an old woman, but she didn't know what to do with the hot-tempered Sister Ingzi. She lost her confidence and was about to be overwhelmed. Huamin opened the door and walked out. Don't trouble Director Li, I have a way to get you guys out. A young lady. Ever since Ingzi found out that Huamin was Qin Chu's wife, she was very polite. She didn't dare to yell like she used to. Yes, I believe that our hospital is very good at keeping secrets. We'll investigate the source of the leak, but it's not the time for you to worry about that. The interview is more important, so I'll think of a way to get you guys out. Ingzi knew that Huamin would definitely put GK's reputation first, so he definitely wouldn't leak Ni Yang's information. Naturally, he trusted her. Alright, but do you have a solution now? I feel dizzy looking at the people at the door. Even a mosquito wouldn't be able to fly out. Those paparazzi aren't ordinary people either. They're the kind of people who want to dig up other people's graves. Sister Ingzi was a little worried. It's all right. Both of you come with me. Huamin looked at Director Li, who was sweating profusely. Director Li, you should go and rest first. We'll talk about our hospital later. Alright, thank you for your hard work, Huamin. Director Li also knew that at this time, no one was willing to stand out. Huamin had no choice but to take up the responsibility. At the very least he had to protect Yong and Southside. Imperial Star Headquarters, President Su, do we need to use public relations to deal with Yong? Why should we mobilize public relations? He's not one of our artists. Su Yu calmly practiced calligraphy in the CEO's office. Half an hour ago Yang's situation blew up, so of course he knew about it. No, what I meant was, should we send someone over to cause trouble? After all, he's a GK artist. And was still brooding over the fact that Yong originally agreed to sign with Imperial Star, but in the end he joined GK. He felt wronged for his boss. Women are the ones who kick people when they're down, not me. You haven't eaten yet, right? Hurry up and go eat. Yes, boss. After An left, Wei Liao called, Huamin is also at Southside, don't you care about him? Yang's illness might be real. I think Huamin already knew about it. I heard that the interview with Legend is in an hour. But apparently, Yong and his agent are stuck at Southside and can't get out. Their RV is surrounded by people. It's so crowded. What does that have to do with me? Su Yu asked calmly. Don't you think that Huamin is always able to turn the tide at a time like this? I'm looking forward to seeing Huamin's performance, huh? Then Wei Liao hung up the phone. Su Yu put down the unfinished brush in his hand, picked up the remote control and turned on the TV. On the TV, the situation at Southside was being broadcasted live. This damned girl seems to have a trick up her sleeve every time. Su Yu murmured to himself. He was indeed looking forward to Huamin's performance. Under these circumstances, how could they help Yong break out of the encirclement and get to the TV station? The difficulty level seemed to be 5 stars. Sister Huamin, you still haven't told us how you're going to help us out. Yong quietly followed behind Huamin and asked. Chapter 690. Even though he knew that Huamin was omnipotent, Yong was still worried. After all, they were in too much of a hurry, plus he would feel bad if he gave Huamin a hard time. Huamin, who was walking in front of him, suddenly turned around and looked at him. In all seriousness he asked, are you superstitious? Like if there's a taboo, I'm not superstitious. Yong shook his head in confusion. Are you afraid of the dead? I don't think so, I haven't seen one with my own eyes. Yong wondered why Huamin kept asking such strange questions. A young lady, hurry up and tell me, we're really running out of time. Sister Ingzi kept looking at her watch, she was about to collapse. If she offended Jean Lon, she probably wouldn't be able to become a legend anymore. Qin Chu, on the other hand, didn't seem to know the answer to this question. The higher-ups at GK headquarters were holding a closed-off 30-year anniversary party. Fine. That's all we can do. I hope you won't blame me for being too immoral. Huamin made up his mind and led Yong and the others to a small, secluded building. There was a big sign on top of the building. Yong looked up and was dumbfounded. A morgue? Sister Huamin, you're not asking me to pretend to be a corpse, right? Yong wanted to cry but had no tears. No way, it's bad luck to pretend to be a corpse. Sister Ingzi immediately said. Huamin glanced at them and said calmly, I'm not asking you to pretend to be a corpse. I'm asking you to follow the corpse truck out. Do you have the guts to do it? Yong was dumbfounded again. We don't have time, let's go. It's fine, it's just a corpse, it won't. Sister Ingzi made up her mind and said. 5 minutes later, a transport truck carrying corpses slowly exited the hospital from the back door. Although there were a lot of media and fans at the back door, no one doubted the van. Yong was wearing a white jumpsuit and a mask. He was sitting in the cold storage at the back with his sister Ingzi. In front of them were the driver and the transporter. The body was wrapped in a long black bag. Although it looked scary, Huamin explained that the deceased was an old man who had died of old age. The body is being transported to the funeral home for cremation. Don't be afraid. Moreover, they did not have to stay in the car for long. As long as they left the hospital and got off the overpass, everything would be fine. An hour later, column that everyone paid attention to myths and legends. He knew that Yong was trapped in the southern district and was waiting for the mythology officials to slap him in the face. As a result, a strange scene occurred. Yong was wearing a handsome coffee-colored trench coat as he sat in the live broadcast room for Jean Lan's interview. In the end, the viewership ratings were N points higher than before. The entrance of the TV station was once again blocked. Is Yong a fucking god? His car was in the hospital and everyone saw that he was in the hospital and didn't dare to come out. How did he do that? Can he teleport? Tang Chuan exclaimed in the WeChat group. This is probably Goddess was doing again. Wei Liao laughed. Su Yu had been silent the entire time, but he felt that if someone could transport Ni Yang out of Southside without anyone noticing, other than that weirdo Huamin, no one else could have done it. Ni Yang, have a seat. Hello, Sister Jean Lon. Ni Yang actually smiled, which was rare for him. Ever since he received Huamin's unconventional treatment, he was indeed a lot more cheerful than before. If he was at the peak of his popularity, he would never do interviews because he was afraid that he would say something wrong. Everyone has been paying attention to your contract. Can you tell us why you gave up on Imperial Star and signed with GK instead? Jean Lan's questions were always sharp. After she asked, the entire room was in an uproar. Everyone was waiting for Ni Yang's answer. Chapter 691. Imperial Star is the company I wanted to sign with, but something went wrong. Can you tell me what happened that made you make this sudden decision? Jean Lon asked. Ni Yang was silent for 5 seconds. Then he scanned the room and slowly said, because I want to help my sister. Sister? You have a sister? Jean Lon asked. No, she's not my biological sister, but she's more like a family member. I respect her. Then, does your sister have some sort of relationship with GK? Yeah. My sister is a young lady from GK. As soon as Ni Yang finished speaking, the room went into an uproar. Gasps of surprise came from the crowd. I met her by chance. I thought she was a nice person, so I decided to call her my sister. Didn't her company start a film and television company a while ago? We're close, so it went without saying. Ni Yang smiled. I didn't know a young lady was so popular. There were rumors online that you two were close. So you're siblings. Great, everyone finally knows. After Ni Yang's livestream ended, it caused quite a stir. However, it also cleared the rumors that Huamin and Ni Yang had an ambiguous relationship. By the time Qin Chu walked out of the conference room, the problem had already been solved. He listened to Assistant Yang's long-winded explanation from the beginning, then he lowered his head and remained silent for 3 seconds before asking. So, when one of GK's artists is trapped, the company won't do anything but my wife will? Then what's the point of spending so much money on a PR team? Is it just for show? Assistant Yang knew that the president was furious from his tone. Don't worry, sir, a young lady is very capable. She's already solved the problem and successfully transported Ni Yang out of Southside. I've already spoken to her on the phone. As for Ni Yang's negative news, it's been covered up by the live stream. The point is, if you need my wife to do everything, do you think I'll bring you home to feed? It wasn't that Qin Chu didn't want Huamin to interfere with GK's business. He just didn't want his wife to work so hard and always worry about his company. She was already tired enough at Southside. Boss, it's an emergency. We wanted to find you, but you're in a closed meeting. We can't get in. So you're blaming me? No. I just think that it's a good thing that a young lady can help us. Boss, please don't be angry. Spread the word. All employees in the PR department will be deducted 50% of their salary this month. And all employees in the PR team under GK Film and Television will be fired. Oh, all of them? Is this really okay? Why aren't you going? Qin Chu glared at him. Yang was so scared that he immediately ran away. The boss didn't get angry easily, but when it did, it was very scary. As soon as the news came out, it immediately became a hot topic on Weibo. Was GK's PR team incompetent? No, they were a gold medal team that had experienced hundreds of battles in dealing with crises. A team that could even whitewash an actor who had cheated. This time it wasn't because they were incompetent. It was because their young lady was too strong. Who in their right mind would think of hiding Ni Yang in a corpse cart? It was so terrifying that it was perverted. But Huamin did it, and it was very safe. After dealing with Ni Yang, Huamin went to find Director Li. Director, there's a mole in the hospital. I don't like the fact that Ni Yang's incident was leaked. I suggest we investigate it. No way, only you, I, and President Wu know about this. Director Li shook his head. Could it be that our database was hacked? That's not possible. In order not to attract attention, I even changed Ni Yang's name so no one should know. Director Li, think about it, other than us, is there really no one else who knows? I remember there's someone else who knows. Director Li suddenly thought of someone. Who? Huamin looked up and asked nervously. Chapter 692. My Chi-Chi. Director Li said slowly. Huamin was speechless. Chi-Chi was Director Li's daughter. She was only 16 years old and was in her first year of high school. If she knew, then go back and ask her. She might be a fan of Ni Yang. I hope this isn't an internal problem at our hospital. What about the reporters outside? Should we make a statement or something? Director Li asked, feeling a headache coming on. There's no need for that. Those people were here for Ni Yang in the first place, and if we didn't respond, they'd naturally stop bothering us. Also, don't come to Southside for Ni Yang's treatment in the future. Let's just arrange a private meeting place. We can't ruin him. Huamin was still very protective of Ni Yang. After all, depression wasn't something to be proud of. Once it was exposed, it would be quite troublesome. Ni Yang finally got a little better, and Huamin hoped that it wouldn't be ruined by these messy external factors. The storm finally calmed down. Huamin stayed for a little while longer, and after seeing that everything was fine, he drove out of Southside. PK headquarters. A young lady, you're here. What's wrong? Why do you look so down? Huamin felt that Yang wasn't in a good mood today, as if something was on his mind. After the president found out about what happened today, he went crazy and fired the PR team at film and television. The PR staff at GK headquarters were also implicated. Anyways, the president was unhappy the whole afternoon and we were all scared. Why did he fire so many people? Huamin was shocked. Because the president said that if he had to deal with everything, then what was the point of having those people? Okay, let me go take a look. Qin Chu's tantrum caused the entire GK headquarters to be in low spirits. Huamin didn't knock, he directly pushed open the door and walked in. Get out? Qin Chu was in a bad mood. With his back to the door, he leaned back in his chair and pondered. Honey. Huamin opened his mouth. Qin Chu felt like his heart was about to melt. He immediately stood up. Honey, why didn't you call me when you were done? I'll go pick you up. It's okay. I just received a call from the hospital in the afternoon, so I went to deal with it. Huamin had just sat down. Assistant Yang immediately brought over some warm milk, and then tactfully left. Honey, did they make you mad today? Huamin asked with a smile. Qin Chu sat beside her and nodded with his arm around her shoulder. Huamin picked up the milk and took a sip. Anger hurts. Come to have some milk. As she spoke, she picked up the cup and placed it next to Qin Chu's mouth. However, Qin Chu didn't drink it. Instead, he moved closer to Huamin's lips and kissed her clean. Don't be like this. Huamin blushed. Drinking like this shows my sincerity. Qin Chu smiled. No matter how bad his mood was, as long as he saw Huamin, heard her talk and saw her smile, Qin Chu suddenly felt like the sky had cleared up. His wife was so magical. Don't be angry because of these things. I don't want you to be angry. You're already tired of being in this position and you still have to worry about these things every day. I don't have the heart. Huamin raised her hand and gently stroked Qin Chu's slightly furrowed brows. I know, honey. Just then Huamin received a text from Director Li on her phone. Huamian, it was Chi-Chi who did it. She accidentally told her friends about it at school, and those kids didn't watch their mouths and were used by the media. I'm sorry, I almost caused trouble for Ni Yang in the hospital. Director Li sincerely apologized. After Huamin replied, she looked up and said, Honey, let's go eat. Qin Chu looked at his watch. It's not time yet, honey, there's still an hour left. It's okay, let's get off work early today. Everyone worked hard for the 30-year anniversary. You should take a break too, okay? Sure. Qin Chu then stood up and called his assistant. Tell everyone to get off work an hour early. Then Qin Chu and Huamin went downstairs together. Oh right. Jiang Linyue went to T-City to take up her new position, right? Huamin asked Assistant Yang outside the president's office. Chapter 693. It's all in the past, a young lady. Good. Huamin nodded. Jiang Linyue was truly an annoying woman. Huamin sent her to work at TNT with one sentence. It was her karma. She claimed to be the president of a subsidiary company, but she was actually just someone who cleaned up a mess. After such a huge incident, it was impossible for her to make any progress in a short period of time. However, Jiang Linyue was indeed strong-willed. She still hadn't resigned. She still chose to grit her teeth and continue working. An opponent like her was actually quite scary. Halfway home, Chin Chu received another phone call. This time it was from his father. Chu, come visit your mom when you have time. She's fine, but she's been in the hospital for a long time. I think she's a little out of it today. I got it. After hanging up the phone, Chin Chu's expression was as calm as ever. Why don't you go? Huamin wanted to persuade him. Honey, what do you want to eat? Chin Chu interrupted her. Lingling said that one of her relatives opened a roasted pig trotters. It's pretty good and she wants us to try it. I'll be a good person to the end. I even helped her make an appointment with Gao Ran. Speaking of which, it's been a while since the four of us got together. Yeah, it's rare that we have time. Chin Chu smiled. When the two arrived, they parked their car, but they still couldn't find the so-called little idiot pig trotters. Huamin called Zhu Lingling again. However, Zhu Lingling said that Gao Ran would be able to find it. Sure enough, the Jaguar was parked behind their Maybach. Gao Ran didn't even have time to change out of his police uniform. Hello, guys. Lingling said that you would be able to find it? Where is this place? Huamin was confused. Oh, it's in the residential area. Go through this alley, then turn left and walk 50 meters. Then turn right and you'll see it. It's so secluded. How can anyone eat in this area? Don't tell me you've lost everything? Huamin sighed. Good wine doesn't fear deep alleys. I heard that this restaurant was on a local food show. Business is very good. There are often no seats and people have to line up. You often come here with Zhu Lingling, right? Chin Chu glanced at Gao Ran and asked faintly. Oh, this is my first time here. It's your first time here, but you're already so familiar with the roads. Your brain is better than a god map. Chin Chu mocked him. Hubby, you're so annoying. Don't be so direct. At least give us, the people's police, some face. He doesn't need to give me face. His skin is thick enough. Damn it. Chin Chu, your second uncle, you're starting to pretend in front of me, aren't you? It's your treat today. I'm going to eat a few more pig trotters. Then they walked into the alley together. Sure enough, after turning left and right at the end of the alley, they saw a wooden sign with the words Little Idiot Pig Trotters written on it. With this name, no one is as smart as idiot. Idiot is enough, but they added pig trotters. Are they afraid that they're not stupid enough? Their chef isn't stupid at all. She just looks silly and friendly. She's the sister-in-law of Venomous Tongueling's third cousin. Damn it. They're not even close. Huamin was speechless. As soon as the three of them walked in, Zhu Lingling came out to greet them. She wore the simplest outfit today. A white Adidas sweatshirt, black sweatpants, white sneakers and a ponytail. She looked very girly. Gao Ran stared at her for a while. Huamin coughed lightly and teased her. You're dressed so beautifully. Do you have ulterior motives? Go away. When am I not beautiful? Come and sit, I've already ordered good food. I want 2 more pig trotters because Mr. Chin is paying today. Look at you. 2 pig trotters are enough to make you eat. Zhu Lingling glared at Gao Ran. Mr. Chin is paying, you guys can eat as much as you want. It'll be a waste if you don't eat. Huamin smiled. How can you cheat your husband like this? Chin Chu lovingly pinched her face. Huamin smiled like a blooming flower. She didn't notice that someone was staring at her beautiful face. Should we go somewhere else? Tang Chuan, the foodie, heard his friend recommend this place, so he couldn't wait to bring Su Yu, Wei Liao and the others here. He didn't expect Huamin and the others to be here as well. What was that saying again? Enemies often cross paths. Chapter 694. It's okay, this place is fine. After speaking, Su Yu strode over and sat down at a small wooden table. Tang Chuan and Wei Liao followed him. Chin Chu turned his head and saw Su Yu. He nodded and greeted him with the most basic greeting. Su Yu wasn't rude, so he nodded and greeted Chin Chu back. Huamin was laughing when she saw Su Yu sitting across from her. She immediately stopped smiling, turned around and obediently walked over to Chin Chu. She didn't have much feelings for Su Yu, but the way Su Yu looked at her made the entire world jealous. No matter if she cried, laughed, hit or threw a tantrum, Su Yu seemed to like it all and he always looked at her affectionately. Huamin couldn't stand the look in his eyes and she felt a lot of pressure. So, most of the time whenever she looked at Su Yu she would subconsciously look away. Wei Liao on the other hand was quite proactive. He walked over and smiled. Huamin, Jiang Shaowei's engagement party is tomorrow, right? Yes. Okay, I got it. Are you going? Huamin looked at Wei Liao strangely. Yes, but I'm not going to steal the bride. Don't worry. Wei Liao seemed to know that the man Jiang Shaowei was getting engaged to was related to Gao Ran, so he said this with a deeper meaning. Then he left. He just wanted to make sure that he remembered the date correctly. Jiang Shaowei? Don't tell me you guys are talking about my cousin Du Jinan's fierce fiancé. Gao Ran knew Jiang Shaowei and Du Jinan, and he knew about the engagement party tomorrow. He was just a little curious. How did Wei Liao know Jiang Shaowei? To be honest, Gao Ran really didn't like Su Yu and the others. In his eyes, those people were all money-burning playboys. Although Gao Ran was also rich, he had sacrificed a lot to get to where he was today. Ah, it's her. How does she know Wei Liao? Gao Ran took a sip of beer and asked. I don't know. Huamin didn't want to talk about this because what happened that day was like a prank. It might affect Jiang Shaowei and Wei Liao's reputation. Gao Ran was a smart man. Seeing that Huamian didn't want to talk about it, he didn't want to ask, who's Jiang Shaowei? What does she have to do with you? Are you hitting on girls again? Zhu Lingling didn't understand half of what was going on, so she asked sourly. Before Gao Ran could explain, Huamin said on purpose, yeah, she's Gao Ran's old flame. Then, Huamin, you tricked your husband and now you're tricking me. You're going to change your name to Hua Trapper tomorrow. Ha! Huamin couldn't help but laugh again. Su Yu couldn't help but look over. He didn't know how a girl like Huamin could laugh so recklessly and without any pretense. Her laughter was even a little devilish. She didn't pay attention to her own imagination, but it was too real. No wonder Qin Chu liked her so much. He liked her too. Su Yu quietly picked up the beer on the table and took a big gulp. Lord Su, take it easy, the food hasn't been served yet. This restaurant's pork trotters are delicious, Tang Chuan gushed. However, Su Yu didn't seem to be in the mood to listen. His heart was completely focused on Huamin. Sea City wasn't that big, but the chances of them bumping into each other seemed to be increasing. Since Qin Chu announced Huamin's identity, she might be attending many events as GK's a young lady in the future. However, was this what Su Yu wanted? Did he want her to be by another man's side every time he saw her? Did he want her to hold another man's hand and torture him together? Just then the pork trotters arrived. Perhaps because there were too many dishes on the plate, one of the roasted pork trotters accidentally slipped off. It fell right next to Huamin's hand, burning her pinky finger. Ah! Qin Chu and Su Yu's expressions changed upon hearing her scream. Chapter 695. Huamian reacted quickly. She jumped up the moment she was scalded. When she realized what was going on, she rushed to the sink. He repeatedly washed the scalded area with cold water. Luckily, it wasn't too serious, just a few red marks. By the time the others realized what had happened, Huamin had already returned to his original spot. Why are you all looking at me like that? Huamin noticed that the other three people at the table were all looking at him strangely. Let me see. Mr. Qin's heart ached for Huamin. He carefully took Huamin's hand and carefully examined it. He was relieved when he saw that there weren't any major problems. I'm sorry, sis. I'm really sorry. The person who served the dishes was a young boy around 18 or 19 years old. He looked dirty, but his eyes were sincere. It's okay, you didn't do it on purpose. Huamin smiled. I'm going to buy some burn cream, you eat first. Then, without waiting for anyone to speak, Qin Chu got up and left. Zhu Lingling gave him a thumbs up. China's best husband. Girl, I realized that your brain doesn't even belong to a human. You immediately knew how to treat the scalded area. Sis, I'm a medical student, how can I not know this? But you reacted too quickly. I'm not trying to fool you, the guy who served the dishes didn't realize that you were scalded until you came back from washing your hands. Ha! Huamin laughed heartily again. Su Yu couldn't help but walk over. How are you? Are your chicken feet okay? Would it kill you to not speak properly? Huamin retorted. You reacted pretty quickly. With your IQ, it wouldn't be surprising if you lived to 100 years old, Su Yu exclaimed calmly. I don't want to live that long, I'll be lonely. Huamin pouted and said. You can come up with 100 reasons for everything I say. Look at your mouth and logical thinking. You're really something else, Su Yu said helplessly. Zhu Lingling and Gao Ran exchanged glances, but neither of them said anything. They felt that Su Yu taking advantage of Qin Chu's absence to flirt with a girl was a bit. Don't think that I'm here because Qin Chu isn't here. If he's here I'll do the same. It's fine as long as I see that you're fine. Otherwise I'd have to worry about being bored. Sco. I'm not eating anymore. I didn't manage to eat the pig trotters and almost ate the chicken feet. Suyu was hinting at Huamin's injury. In the end, before the dishes they ordered were served, the few of them left, leaving behind 1,000 yuan. They were rich and overbearing. Rich people are really capricious. They can choose not to eat the good food and still pay for it. Zhu Lingling sighed with emotion. Isn't it just burning money? Who doesn't? Then why don't you burn one? Zhu Lingling teased Gao Ran. I'm not that kind of person. Don't compare me to those wastrels. Who's a wastrel? Please, go and ask around. How much does Imperial Star make in a year? So you can burn a few million yuan a day. Imperial Star is currently a well-known and leading company in China. I heard that it's going to be listed in the US soon. So if you call him a wastrel it means that you're jealous of him. Me? Jealous of him? Are you kidding me? He's just a stud horse. What stud horse? I heard that Suyu has changed a lot recently. He doesn't get close to women anymore. Gao Ran looked at Huamin with a complicated expression. Then he pointed out something else. Anyways, if I were a woman I wouldn't be with Suyu. If I wanted to find someone I'd find someone like Qin Chu, a loyal dog. If I'm a loyal dog then what are you? A donkey? Qin Chu came back at some point. He was standing behind Gao Ran. Huh. You heard him. He said that if he were a woman he'd find someone like you, Zhu Lingling said playfully. Other than Mion I don't want anyone else. Qin Chu sat down proudly. Then he opened the burn ointment and carefully applied it on Huamin's wounds. Huamin ate the roasted pig trotters with one hand while Qin Chu applied ointment with the other. It was such a pleasure. Every time we eat you always torture us, don't you? Gao Ran complained with a bone in his mouth. You can torture us too. How can we torture you guys? You guys are already at the pinnacle of torturing single people. No one can surpass you. Girl, are you pregnant yet? It's been so long. Zhu Lingling suddenly thought of a very serious problem. Chapter 696. Not yet, Huamin answered honestly. You guys should hurry up and make babies. Gao Ran chimed in. Then you guys should hurry up too. We can make babies together. Maybe we'll be in-laws in the future. Upon hearing Huamin's words, Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling were shocked beyond words. What are you talking about? We haven't even started dating yet. Zhu Lingling immediately defended herself. If you call that not even dating after sleeping with him, then what are married people like us? Are we dating? Huamin laughed. Gosh. Don't spread rumors. Nothing happened between us last time. Gao Ran was sweating profusely. Qin Chu added, yeah, nothing happened between the two of you. You guys just ate sunflower seeds the whole night, okay? Ah. Huamin almost wanted to give her husband a thumbs up and started laughing devilishly again. Gao Ran was speechless, Zhu Lingling was speechless. Excuse me, Mr. Qin, but can we still have fun? Zhu Lingling asked with a confused expression. You guys have to admit that you're having an affair first. We can still have fun together. You have to be honest, Huamin said. Gao Ran was speechless. Zhu Lingling was speechless. It's good that you guys are married. Otherwise, no one else in the world can control either of you. That's scary, Gao Ran exclaimed. Then they continued to eat and drink. Huamin wasn't affected by the burn. Inside the Mercedes-Benz RV, Suyu, Wei Liao and Tang Chuan sat in the back, listening to the sounds and drinking red wine. I'm so hungry. I should have eaten before leaving. I left 1,000 yuan behind and didn't even get to eat anything. I felt so pretentious, Tang Chuan complained. Then you can go back and eat. Lord Su's heart almost broke when he saw Huamin get burned. How could he be in the mood? Wei Liao laughed. You're still in the mood to laugh? Isn't Jiang Shaowei getting engaged tomorrow? Why would I cry? Plus, there's nothing going on between us, Wei Liao said with a faint smile. Suyu didn't say anything and quietly looked out the window. When Huamin got burned, he really did stand up. But then he suddenly realized that he didn't have the right. He didn't even have the right to greet her as a friend. Huamian once said that they weren't even friends. But why did his heart still hurt so much when he saw her burn? It was so painful. It was as if he was the one who got burned. Was he poisoned too deeply? Lord Su, don't feel bad. Huamin is fine. It's just a burn. Plus, look at how fast that girl reacted. He ran like a rabbit. I only realized she was burned after she was done, huh? Wei Liao comforted him. So you didn't say anything. He didn't seem to be interested in anything. They were just about to happily eat pork trotters when they bumped into Huamin. He didn't know if it was fate or disaster. Wei Liao felt more and more that Suyu couldn't extricate himself. His feelings for Huamin were getting deeper and deeper with each passing day. But the worst part was that he was restraining himself. He didn't want to be too high profile because he didn't want to cause trouble for Huamin. That was why he had been holding it in. With his fiery temper, it was really hard for him to hide his feelings. Lord Su, you've been holding it in for too long. I think you need to vent. You don't like the women in your company. Why don't we go abroad and look for foreign girls? I know a few managers from famous groups in Korea. You can pick any girl you want, they're cheaper than in China. Chapter 697. You two go ahead, I'm not interested, Suyu said quietly as he lowered his head. You go ahead, I'm not interested either. Wei Liao smiled. Then let's go to Seductive Fox for a drink? Tang Chuan suggested again. I'm going home today, you guys go ahead. Upon hearing that Suyu was going home, the driver immediately drove him back to the Su family mansion. Ever since Suyu became independent, he rarely returned home. Perhaps it was because he was used to being independent. When he was in the military, he basically only returned home once every 2 years. Lady Su missed her son so much that she would secretly go to the military to see him. But today he really wanted to pick her up. For some reason, perhaps an injured child needed the comfort of a family. When Suyu returned home, it was only 8 p.m. The Su family had just finished dinner. Lady Su was flattered when she saw her son. Son, have you eaten yet? Mom, I'm a bit hungry. Come sit here and eat something to fill your stomach. I'll ask Xiaoru to make you some dishes. I just want to eat your egg fried rice. Son, what's wrong? Suyu was not a mother's boy, so he never acted like a spoiled child. When he was 7 years old, he fought with other kids and was badly injured. When he returned home, he was whipped by his father. Even then, he never acted like a spoiled child to his parents. But today he actually said that he wanted to eat his mother's egg fried rice. Lady Su didn't cook much, so her fried rice was very ordinary. Suyu actually missed the familiar taste. I'm fine, Mom, I'm just hungry. Wait here, Mom will make you fried rice. Madam, let me do it. The nanny was scared when she saw Madame Su enter the kitchen. It's okay, I'll do it. Lady Su rarely cooked for her son, so she didn't want to miss this opportunity. 20 minutes later. A plate of egg fried rice was placed on the coffee table. The color wasn't good and there was even a burnt smell. It was probably overcooked. However, Suyu didn't say anything as he picked it up and ate like crazy. He ate with relish. Son, how is it? Lady Su asked nervously. It's delicious. Thank you, Mom. The relationship between Suyu's family members was very interesting. Lady Su was very gentle, Father Su was very strict, and Lord Su was both kind and strict. The Su family was strict, but they generally wouldn't interfere with Suyu. The Su family would never do something like Lady Qin, who gave herself an interview and slapped her son in the face. Suyu finished the plate of fried rice in just a few bites. Is it enough? Do you want me to make you some more? Mrs. Su looked at her son with concern. No need, I'm full. Do you want some fruit? Today your grandfather's old subordinate came over from Guangyuan with a lot of fresh lychees. Shall I ask Xiaoru to wash some for you? I don't feel like eating. What about tea? The new to Hong Pao that your dad bought smells really good. It's premium. I don't feel like drinking it. After Suyu finished the egg fried rice, he realized that he was still in a bad mood, inexplicably bad. No matter what his mother said, he wasn't interested at all. Son, is there something on your mind? Lady Su sat beside Suyu with a white shawl and asked with concern. Yes. Is it about the girl you told me about last time? How did you know? Suyu tilted his head and looked at his mother in surprise. Of course I gave birth to you. You crawled out of my stomach, how could I not know what you're thinking? Lady Su smiled. Suyu lowered his head and didn't say anything. That girl, she doesn't like you? Lady Su probed.